Good morning, children. I'm very glad to welcome you for this online revision class. We have already discussed the question answers, but now it's time to make a short revision. The portion and pattern is also given to you previously. Lesson 3 and lesson 4. Learn all the book back questions. Learn it thoroughly, the diagrams, formulas, everything that is the floral sequence and all the questions that is given. You have got only few questions given in the lesson 3 and lesson 4, so try to learn all those question and answers and be thorough. And while you write your choose, as I mentioned before, the same thing I am repeating, write the options and the answer. A, the answer, then the option B, then the answer. So make note of the options and write the question numbers correctly. Write your exam number and name, that is more important. I have added the link with below this. Just follow it and make a revision of the lesson. All the best for your exam, children. Let's learn lesson number 3, vegetative morphology. It has got 5 choose a correct answer and 5 question answers which will be followed after this. Kindly watch this and revise your lessons and be prepared for your September monthly test. Children, let's look into the choose the correct answer of third lesson. You have got 5 choose the correct answer. Let me read the question first. Roots are, and 4 options are given. We have to find which one is correct. For this, let's move to page number you just turn to the characteristics of roots in your book. The page number may differ in different book. In my book it is page 66. First character, if you see, root is a descending portion. So of the 4 options, we have got one answer, that is descending. Now let's move to the last point. It is positively geotrophic and negatively phototrophic. So 3 things we have found here: descending, positive geotrophic, negative phototrophic. Let's now look into the options of the 4 thing, and of the 4 thing, the answer B. Answer B, option B, as this descendingly, positively geotrophic and negatively phototrophic. So answer would be option B. So this is how you will have to find out the answer from the textbook. Please don't refer any prepared answers from the guides, but refer your textbook. That will help you to learn the topics and contents. Now let's move to the second question. When the root is thick and fleshy but does not take a definite shape, it is said to be. 4 options are given. To find this, let's look into the textbook. Page number 68. There are types of adventitious root. In that, the first one, tuberous root. These roots are swollen without any definite shape. So here we got the answer. So your answer would be option B, tuberculous root, tubercular root or tuberose root, which does not have a definite shape. Let's move to the third question. Example for negatively geotrophic roots, that is roots that is growing away from the ground. A root means it has to grow towards the ground, but here it is growing away from the ground. Let's look into the same page number 68, the first paragraph. Okay, you can find which develops a special kind of roots, negative geotrophic. So who are they? Eventia and Rhizophora. They have a special kind of root. So we found the answer. The answer is option D, Eventia and Rhizophora. Option D, Eventia and Rhizophora is the answer for the third question. Question number 4. Curcuma amanda, Curcuma domestica, asparagus, maranta are examples of dash. Again, let's go to the same page, page number 68. You can find all the examples: maranta, Curcuma amanda, Curcuma longa. All these comes under the roots, nodulous root. So answer is nodulous. Answer is option D, nodulous root, which has these members: Curcuma amanda, Curcuma longa and maranta are examples. Last question number 5. Bryophyllum and Dioscora are examples for. So these are 2 kinds of birds. We have to find what type of bird it is. For to learn this, let's turn a book to page number 71 adventitious bud, topic 70, adventitious bud, page number 71. So in this paragraph you can find that foliar buds or those which grows on the leaves. Example is bryophyllum. Did you find it out? And the second one, coleon buds. Example, the last line, Dioscora. So bryophyllum is example for foliar bud and Dioscora is example for coleon bud. So the answer is option B, foliar bud and coleon bud. Children, I want you to learn all these answers. Whenever you are given a work to find out the answer, I want you to refer the answer from the textbook and write. That will help you to gain knowledge. Let's learn the question answer of lesson number 4. There are 6 questions which will discuss 5 questions which will discuss one after the another. Kindly watch it and learn the answer. Let's start with the 6th question. Why lateral roots are endogenous? Okay. Lateral roots are initiated in the pericycle and grow out through the cortex and epidermis. From the pericycle, it penetrates out through cortex and pericycle and epidermis. So, it is said to be internal or endogenous. Okay. So, roots are starting from the pericycle. From the pericycle to cortex, they move out through the epidermis. Therefore, this is called the endogenous origin of root. Let's look into the next question, 7th question. Write the similarities and difference between Avicennia and Trapa. Similarities is both are aquatic plants, hydrophytes. That is the similarity. Now let's move to the difference. It is a respiratory root, grows in a marshy saline habitat. Here it is a Trapa is a photosynthetic root, grows in ordinary water surface, that is free floating plant. So that is a difference between both this Avicennia and Trapa. The next question in the 7th sub question is banyan and silk cotton. So similarities is both are adventitious root modification. Both are adventitious root modification for doing mechanical support. Banyan, the root grows vertically downward. Okay, from the top it penetrates down and it is called as prop root. Whereas this silk cotton, no, you find broad blank outgrowth. You will find a cardboard like thing on the base of the stem towards the base of the trunk, and they are called as the buttress root. So this is the difference between the banyan and the silk cotton. Now let's move to the 3rd question of 7th question. That is 3rd sub question in 7th one. Similarities and difference between fusiform and napiform. Similarities is both are taproot modification for storage of food. For storing the food, they undergo modification. In fusiform, the root is swollen and slightly tapers at both the end. Okay, but middle part is swollen. Whereas in napiform, the roots are very broadly swollen. It is swollen at the top and the middle, and suddenly it tapers downward like a tail at the apex. It tapers down like a tail. And example for this is Raphius sativus. This Raphinus sativus is a radish, and here Beta vulgaris is beetroot. So these are the answers for your 7th question. Now let's move to the 8th question, which is about how do root climbers differ from stem climbers. So root climbers are adventitious roots from the node, help in plant to climb. Okay, they are found in any part of the plant. So they are called adventitious and they help in climbing. Example, Piper beetle and Piper nigrum. Stem climbers, let's see what is stem climber. The stem itself coils. Okay, the stem coil around the supporting plant to climb. Example, Ipomia and Clitoria. It is of 2 types. The coil I told, no, that is running around. If it is in the anti-clockwise, it is called the sinistrose. If it is in clockwise, it is called dextrose. So based upon the coiling of the stem, it is of 2 types, dextrose and sinistrose. So this is your 8th question. Now let's move to 9th question. Compare sympodial branching with monopodial branching. Okay, it's about branching. Sympodial branching, the terminal bud stops to grow and further grows by lateral meristem. Okay, the terminal bud, the tip stops, but it grows by the meristem. Example, cycas. In monopodial branching, the terminal bud grows uninterruptedly. The tip of the plant will be always growing. It will be undergoing the divisions and the growth will be there. Example is your polyalthia. Arasamara. Okay, polyalthia. Let's move to the 10th question. Differentiate pinnate unicorsate with palmate multicorsate venation. So it's about venation. So first one is pinnate unicorsate and the next one is palmate multicorsate. Let me show the diagram, you will understand. This is pinnate and it is unicorsate. Unicorsate means you will find only one midrib. And this one is palmate. You can find palm like opened one. And here you can find many midribs. Many midribs will be running, therefore it is called multicorsate. Many midrib, okay? Okay, let's write the answer for pinnately unicorsate. There is only one midrib in the center and lateral branches forms a network. In this palmate multicorsate, there are 2 to more principal veins. Main veins you will find more main veins. It is of 2 types. One is divergent, the other one is the convergent. Divergent example cucurbita and convergent example is your Cinnamonum. This is about your question answers. Children, we have discussed all the 5 answers with the 1 mark questions. Kindly go through this and write your answers, learn and be thorough for your exams. Lesson 4 has got 5 choose the correct answers which we'll discuss one by one. The first one is vexillary aestivation is characteristics of the family. We have to find the answer. For this we'll move to the types of aestivation. In that you can find one of the aestivation is vexillary. Page number 102. Here you can find vexillary. Example is pea and bean. This pea and bean belong to the family Fabaceae. Therefore, the answer would be option A, Fabaceae. So, vexillary aestivation is found in Fabaceae. The second question is, gynoecium with united carpels is termed as. Okay, 4 options are given. We'll have to find it. For this, let's move to page number 107. You can find a box on the top, apocarpus and syncarpus. Pistil means ovary. Consists 2 or more carpels which are congate. Connate here refers to united. So, united carpels are called the syncarpus. So, option is the united carpel is called the syncarpus. Option C. Option C, syncarpus is the answer for the question. Question, aggregate fruit develops from. There are 4 options given. To learn this, let's move to page number 117. You can find the aggregate. It develops from a single flower. Flower is single, but it has got many ovary. And the ovary all are apocarpus pistil. That is, every carpel is free from each other. So, answer is multicarpellary apocarpus ovary. That is option A. As this fruit comes under the multiple fruit, apocarpals are considered to be multiple. So, multicarpellary apocarpus ovary is the answer for the third question. Let's move to the fourth question now. In an inflorescence where flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession, the position of the youngest flower bud shall be. 4 options are given there. This question is little twisted question. So, let's find the answer. See, flowers are born in a way that the position of the younger flower is at the apex or distal end, while the older flower is placed towards the base because it refers to acropetal. So, the option here would be, the answer here would be distal. Option B is the correct answer for question number 4. Let's move to the 5th question. A true fruit is the one where. Okay, there are 3 types of fruits. So, of that, the true fruit. What is the character of a true fruit? For this, let's refer in page number 114. The tabular column is given. We'll look into the answer now. The ovary develops into fruit without any non-corollary part. Only the ovary develops. The such fruit are called the true fruit. So in true fruit you will not have calyx, corolla, all those things. So answer is option A. Only ovary of the flower develops into the fruit. So this is the answer for the fifth question. Always when you try to find the answer, refer the book, find out the content from the book and write the answer. Hope you have understood all the 1 mark questions. Read them thoroughly and try to get good marks in your forthcoming exams. Let's learn the question answer of lesson number 4. There are 6 questions which will discuss 5 questions which will discuss one after the another. Kindly watch it and learn the answer. Let's start with the answer 6. Find out the floral formula for the bisexual flowers with bract, regular, pentamerous, distinct calyx and corolla, superior ovary without bracteoles. For this you have to refer page number 113 and learn that, and you can write, you will be able to write the answer. EBRL is E bracket, and that circle plus plus is called the actinomorphic and it's bisexual. As we have mentioned, pentamerous for calyx, corolla, everything we are going to give 5, 5, 5. And this is how ovary superior na of before beneath the G we are going to put a dash so that the gynoecium is on top of the dash. This is the answer for question number 6. Let's move to question number 7. You have to write the technical terms here. Name of a sterile stamen is staminode. Stamens that are united in one bundle is called monoadelphous, and stamens that are attached to the petals are called the epipetalous. So these are the answers, one word answers, like you'll have to term the technical term of the following explanation. Let's move to the next question. Explain the types of placentation, different types of placentation with examples. So this you have to put it in a tabular column. The first one you will be writing the different types, next the explanation of those placentation. The third column you will write the examples, and the fourth column you will write the draw the diagram. Altogether you got 6 placentation, 6 types are given there. The examples, the diagram and explanation, everything is given in this page. I want you to fill this answer in those page, and you have already done it in classwork. You can also refer your classwork. Those children who have missed to do it, at least by now you can watch it and do the answers. The next one is question number 4. Distinguish the difference between aggregate fruit and the composite multiple fruit. So tabular column is given there. It develops from a single fruit with having apocarpous ovary there. It develops from all inflorescence. The entire flower develops into inflorescence along with the peduncle. Each carpel develops into fruitlets, and the collections of this is known as the aggregate fruit. For example, polyalthia, I have drawn the diagram also. And for multiple fruit, it is the jackfruit. Now let's move to the last question, 10th question. Explain the different types of fleshy fruits with suitable examples. Okay, so you have to draw it in a tabular column like horizontally. Put the types, then the explanations, examples and the diagrams. This particular page is 115. In your textbook it is 115, 4.40. Simple fleshy fruits. You have got the diagrams there. You got the examples, so you can fill 2 columns using it. And now let's move to the answers. So here you can find 1, 2, 3, 4 types here. The explanation is given. You just minimize the point to the simple and take down the explanation. From this, it's a page number 114. In 114 you have got this. The remaining 2 more points is found beneath the diagram in page 115. Okay, poem and baluster. So these are the answers for the different types of fleshy fruit. You have to make it out a tabular column and write the answer. So with this lesson number 4 is over. Carefully learn the answers and be prepared for your exams. If you have any doubt, you can clarify your doubts with me.